Madama. I can't hear you if you're talking.
I'm not talking.
You're not gonna do the market summary?
No. Today was overall probably an update, just on how things went. We can look at it afterwards, but all right. So winners of the day, you had Bank of America, GE, and Campbell's. Huh. Okay. And losers, AMD. This was because of earnings, which we can look at now. Google, because of earnings.
Also, UPS. Oh, UPS was because of earnings.
And Peton, and Open. I don't know how this is. Yeah, because Open did go down to the 1,000. So let's look at Microsoft, because that had earnings too. I was in this for a hot second, doing earnings. I got tired of it and got out. I made like $2 or something like that. Oh, this is where I got out at. If I had waited, I could have made much more. But hey, it is what it is. And then things came back to kind of normal where it closed off at. I think for everything I heard, earnings was good, but like I told you earlier, I thought this was just too hot, top heavy. So maybe worth getting in tomorrow if you like the short on it. I can back up and show you some historical so you can see that this is way past the all-time high. So we've hit 400 around 345. What's the last time? Was all-time high. Then we got to a new level here, which we set, and then it just kept going. So it's either gonna keep going, or people are gonna want to take their money. It may go a little bit more, but I don't know. If I like the short, I may try to nibble a little bit just to see what's going on. You can see leading up to earnings, we didn't have a good day, which is surprising. So maybe people are in that mode. So I think this could come out first 15 minutes, kind of do a, hey, I'm going up thing, and then just kill people. So put this on a notice. See if we can get a short.
Unfortunately, I don't have my phone, but I will put it in the chat for you to take a picture of.
Okay, I do have my phone with me, surprisingly. Between 409 and 415. So then next we can look at AMD. Had a terrible day today too. Basically it did the same thing. I heard AMD's earnings weren't as good. Okay. So AMD
There
just
wasn't really it wasn't really good or bad. It was just it broke even. It was like it was as projected.
yeah, but you know how that's gonna go. If you have more revenue and then your earnings come in just under, you have a little bit more revenue. People expect you to meet earnings or earnings to be a little bit higher.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, because what are you doing with the extra revenue? So uh, AMD has been very hot. It's been blowing up like crazy. So I'm assuming this earnings debacle um, will cause it to slow down and have it maybe at least come back to this area. We had marked this area here. Maybe it comes back to these highs and goes into this area where it metals out. That would make sense to me. Um, but hey, I guess it could go back up. I just don't see it. Um, and it could be because I have NVDA and how I feel about that. Same thing here. I'm hoping that it will affect NVDA because I'm in it. And NVDA went down a little bit, but it didn't affect it that much. But I'm hoping, let's just see what happens. But I'm hoping that AMD, NVDA, and even Microsoft slows down a little bit. Microsoft, AMD, these are all things that Terry would be like, um, you know, you get it on a bad day, a good company on a bad day, and it's very frothy. UPS, we don't trade it, but we all knew UPS was coming. I think UPS came out in the beginning of the market, right? Um, uh,
That's right. It came out at the beginning of the
yeah.
market.
So it did the same thing, less revenue, but I guess by charging more, cutting hours, they hit their number.
Yeah,
So
and
I
they're
think,
also gonna lay off some folks too.
yeah, so that may help them come back up. So they hit the numbers, but they did a drop. I think the outlook wasn't as great. They had lost some package routes or something to FedEx. So that will probably help them. Um, this is another reason why you can have things going down tomorrow. Google, we'll look at Google. Google had earnings today, and I guess we see where it's at now, so we know what happened here. Um, so, uh, yeah, and they did fairly well. It's not like Google's gonna miss earnings or anything, but this is one thing where it's just people are gonna take their dinero. Things are frothy. We're going into the winter, and this is taking your dinero after Q4. They hit I guess this is all time high, right? Yeah, I guess it's all time high. So Google wasn't as frothy as the others. Um, but I still like Softy number one, and
Can you
then
look at the earnings real quick? The numbers at the
uh,
bottom.
okay, okay, uh, so they did fine. I don't know what the outlook is, but the outlook's probably fine. It's not like we're gonna stop using cloud storage and servers and all of this kind of stuff, or stop using Google. So, so yeah, and it seems like they've always done fine. Uh, this was, uh, we can still define this as COVID times, I guess, the effects. So, I don't know, but it seems like they're doing okay. Um, Piton, we know what's up here. It went down. It will continue to go down. And yeah. What's your average price, Elise? Elisa? Elisa, what's your average price? Okay, you probably can't talk now. All right. So
I apologize. I was on mute the whole time. Um, let me look it up.
so anyway, you didn't have to unmute yourself for this part, but hey. So Teton, we're getting out of January, and
Yes, ma'am.
it will probably continue to slide. If you got it today, it was a good day.
554.
Uh, oh yes, okay. So you'll be fine. Um, open, had a good price, 260, no, 363 was my average price. And it it got down to 351, but it didn't go down as much as I have wanted it to go. And I didn't get the best of the best price. If I had got this 276 price, I would have gotten out more. I got out of over half of my shares, and then it tanked some more, but I wasn't here, and I didn't see your text until after I got back home. So, um, I couldn't get out around, what was this, 7:30? No, what was this? 7:17. What's that? Six something. So almost 7. So I just couldn't, you know. Yeah. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. And I'd like to get out. I could have just almost got out and got back in, but because I had a decent price, I just didn't. Oh, I had 265. Okay. So yeah, so that's why I didn't want to get out, because I thought in my mind, oh, this is such a good price.
365.
Yeah. I want to keep it. So, um, coin, it's been taking. Um, it got to its high, and it's like bounced back up and just continue to tank. I think it will continue to tank. People who were getting out at the right moment, they were in Tech. Roku, you're still in this, right? Um, I will just assume that's a yes.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's just taking a long time. I don't see it going anywhere but tanking, but it's just being difficult. So, um, I'm glad I got out uh, of this caca. Um, Hood, uh, American, JetBlue, I think is coming out on Thursday. So if
I thought it
JetBlue,
already happened. I thought it was today.
I think it's Thursday.
Can you double check?
Just look it up while I'm talking. Um, so if JetBlue does well, then maybe that will help American Airlines come up. I know I heard that Boeing was tanking like crazy. Um, did well, made money, all of
I
that.
was right. It was today.
Okay, so we'll look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know if it's before or after?
It was before, I believe.
Um, so Boeing is doing what it's supposed to do. It took a long ass time. Um, I wanted to short it, but I thought it wasn't gonna go down as quickly as it should, and I didn't want to hold on. So, but it did, and I'm assuming it will get hopefully to the 180 price, and then I will look at buying it. But by then I may not. If the market's tanking, I may not care to. Let me look at this DraftKings. Um, DraftKings have been doing good. It got past 40, and I got out when it was like right around here, this area, this 38, 39 area. I figured it would get to 40. It came back down and then got to 40, and I got a little bit early because I didn't feel like it. I wanted to wait. Um, if I was hoping by the end of the season it would get here to the 50 mark, but it didn't. So if it does end up getting here, it will come back down. It's the end of football season. We're going to start all over again with this. If it comes back down here, I may get in it, or if maybe it's around this area, 25, I may get in it because I do think it will come back up. I kind of look at it like an Intel. It's on the rise. I just have bought it at the wrong time. You got your blue thing. What is the code for it?
JBLU.
So this had earnings. Um, did very well, even though it's losing money. Um, dude, I didn't know JetBlue was so okay. Here it was. Yeah, okay. I didn't know they were losing money like that. Geez, when you see these companies, it makes you think, like, yeah, there's a lot of sleepwalking companies. Um, anything goes bad, it can just be off. So anyway, uh, JetBlue hasn't been doing too great. Um, but it did make its earnings this time. I don't know if that's gonna help it because it's still losing money. Um, but I just don't know. All I know is that I wouldn't buy it. That's the only thing I could say. Uh, Airbnb, Apple. Is Apple having earnings this week too? Um,
Yes, ma'am. Thursday.
uh, so we had a tough day today, very rough for Apple. So I'm assuming the same thing's gonna happen here, where it's gonna go down like everything else is. And it's just because things are getting too frothy here. And
It was a bad day because I believe there was a report from China of some sort that their sales have decreased a lot from China.
of course, they banned um, officials from using it. So this is my favorite thing to see. Um, so this happened today, and then after hours, even though we didn't have earnings from Meta, this happened. I'm assuming that this, hopefully, we can say this is the writing on the wall, even though Meta's been very strong. Um, I still like the short better and softy though. But I'm hoping that this is the writing on the wall, and that soon, ooh, in a couple of days,
The
this
same
will
day as Apple.
everything you need to know.
So Meta, Apple, and Amazon report on Thursday, ma'am.
Um, so Tesla here. it's been having its own issues. We know why. But it's still making money.
Because people are cray-cray.
That's the important thing. So yeah, so we all heard that top people at Tesla are selling a lot of shares, and they're doing some other crazy stuff. So it could get a little bit lower. Who knows? It could bounce up. We could get down here. I'm not saying we are, but just the news that we're hearing and this trend, you see the 50-day moving average, it just doesn't look good. That's all I can say.
Mm-hmm.
So just be careful with that, because if Apple, Meta, Softy, AMD, everything else starts to come down, and they're getting decent earnings, what do you think Tesla's gonna do? Dollar Tree, I'm almost at the point where I want to call this caca, but I'm not, because they do seem to make money. So I'm just like waiting for earnings on this. Can you look up the earnings really quick, Elisa?
I told you yesterday it was about 30 days from now.
Okay. So yesterday you were speaking, but maybe it was a few days ago.
No, I said it yesterday. I told you about
Oh,
Meta. I told you about Apple. And I told you about Google when they would be reporting.
I
I
was
told you,
probably indisposed at that
I think you were not paying attention.
moment. How do you know?
Well, you would have known that I repeated that thing like 2 times.
Yeah, I was indisposed at that moment.
Mm-hmm.
Dollar General, uh, I don't really talk about that. Disney, I don't want to talk about that, even though I know in a hot second that will probably blow up. But if you like Disney, fine. It's just I've had a
According to the guy, the trader that what's his name? The one that does the Anchor VWAP. He likes Disney, but he thinks it's gonna pull back a little bit. So wait until it pulls back and then gets them.
people been waiting 3 years for Disney, so that's all I'll say.
I'm just
Uh,
saying what he said.
no,
He
I
agrees.
know, I know.
He agrees. He agrees that's gonna it's gonna do good. I'm just telling you what he said. So in case you want to get a better price, when it does a little pullback, then you jump on it. That's all.
People have had enough of this. I think many people are frustrated. Um,
That's why I guess we KAT.
yes. This thing here, Tarjay, it came up
Skip it.
level here. It will get up to here. We missed the boat here.
You can still get in it.
Yeah, I just don't feel like it. It's retail. Um, my favorite again. We'll look at it again because I like it. I really want to short this. I got out again because it came up, but I want to see how it bumps up. Uh, this is another one I would like to short too. Um, yeah, I want to short this. But I feel like I don't have the time to. Let's put on the list. Maybe I can look at it one day. But let's see. It did pretty good today. Maybe today was a good day to get in it, huh? Nikete, I'm happy with this, even though I'm still negativo. Um, or I'm negative, because it came up and it was strong in kind of like a down day when all the tech stuff was going down. This was maintaining, and so that gave me a little bit of pride. Um, but I need to fill the gap so I can not even fill the gap, just get to this baseline here before the gap is filled, so I cannot get EBC looks like it didn't do anything. Yeah, it didn't do anything today. We know it had bad earnings. I wanted to see if it was going to come down, and then I would average in. Um, I'm still okay with this because it is making money. Um, and they are buying. They're spending a lot of their money. They bought what is that thing? Century. So I know um they're probably gonna take a hit for that. But I don't want to buy it at a very expensive price. I'd rather get it down. Maybe it takes a hit because of earnings and then I buy it. But I still like the stock. Um, Dix uh seems to be doing okay. I'm not gonna say anything about it. McDonald's, same as before. Uh, Walmart, nothing to write home about. This is the 50-day moving average. Not sure if this is what this means right here. If it's gonna come back up. This does look a little bit unusual. It doesn't look normal to me that it will slide like this. So I don't know if that's really going down. Um, so here we're trying to see if we can get back to 115 and then short again. Um, but we've had a lot of issues because of uh, that's gonna be dealing with the soldiers that got killed. Where we're gonna go to war with Iran, and all of that foolishness. Um, so there could be a lot going on here. So this is just a wait and see. But you definitely want to get 115 now, even if you like this as a short, because it seems like things change every day. This is continuing to go up, and that's it. This was one of the leaders for the good days, and it just had a breakout day today when everything else was bad. But is this in the Nasdaq?
I
Um,
think it's in the Dow Jones.
so that could explain it. It did pretty good for earnings, and it's kind of like the last man standing. It's one of the big banks, so people will, I guess, appreciate it. Oh, it is in the Nasdaq. Oh, maybe that's just the last one.
That's the route.
Um, so let's see. Let's take a quick look over here. MU Pen.
Your Hoggity Hog went down.
You saw, huh? Uh, yeah, it's not bad. We still like at 30, but yeah, okay. Um, Dashy Dash. Um, he used to love this thing. I
When
guess
is earnings?
more people probably use Dash when it's cold out, so I guess that makes sense. 16 days to 16. Um, let's see what else we got. Rivian, PLTR, ASML. Oh, we haven't looked at this in a long time. ASML. So let's see. This was affected a little bit too. Um, yeah, I'm afraid to do anything with NFLX. that's that. I have 10 minutes left, and I have wanted to uh, show a video about housing. Um, but I think it's like 13 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a picture of these notes for someone, and then um, I don't know. I'll see if you have anything to say, and or see if you want me to show
I
any.
don't have anything to say, but muy bueno trabajo. Good job. Um, oh, do you want to take a few minutes to look at the pre-market and current market?
Yeah, why not? Uh, let's see. No, okay, so yeah, so pre-market, everything's negativo, as we would think, and this will be negativo, probably. And let's see, what was the bond? Okay. Yeah, the bond's going down. VIX, okay. A lot better than it has been. And yeah, it was just NASDAQ was down, Dow Jones was positivo, and S&P basically broke even. Um, so yeah. Wall Street punishes Alphabet and Microsoft despite earnings fees after stocks hit record. It's not punished. It's just people wanting money. Reported results that beat analysts' expectations on Tuesday, but shares of both companies fell and extended trading. In my general conversation with public market investors and sell-side analysts, few have a correct view of the advertising market environment. Blah
They
blah,
had good earnings, but it's like you said, it's top heavy. That's it.
but not
And
that.
people
Yeah,
and people are gonna
people want
KAT
their
their
money.
money.
They see the writing on the wall, and it's just people want money. PCs. Yeah, it's the bubble bursting for tech workers. Uh, let's listen to this podcast. They last.
I strive to be intellectually ambitious.
Will
I want
be
to be
put on
making
people.
connections, finding the right data so I can help our viewers see around corners. In covering technology, I'm reporting on change. Ambition can create change.
150,000 tech workers have been laid off in 2022 alone.
Amazon today announcing it's going to cut 18,000 workers.
We're going to see more. It's going to continue to weave through the public and private market. Do you need...
Is the tech bubble bursting again? The layoffs in big tech, which started in 2022, left many wondering if this is just the tip of the iceberg. So what does this mean for these workers, as well as those aspiring to join the tech industry, especially when the economic outlook remains uncertain? Technology is a part of our everyday lives and a necessity for most societies to simply function. This increasing dependency has seen huge growth in the tech sector, and with it, a proliferation of high-paying jobs. But following the industry's recent struggles, those exorbitant salaries are now being scrutinized like never before. In early 2023, California, Washington, and Rhode Island joined several other U.S. states and cities in enacting salary transparency laws which require companies to post salary ranges for job postings. In California, which is home to more than 20% of the world's Fortune 500 companies, a program manager at Apple can make between $121,000 and $230,000. A mid-career software engineer at Google will receive between $126,000 and $190,000, while a software engineering director at Meta can draw a minimum of $253,000 and as much as $327,000 per year.
Amen.
But following mass layoffs for tech workers, are these wage expectations still realistic? Ben Leong is a professor of computer science at the National University of Singapore.
What has happened in the last 3 or 4 years is that pay for the other non-big tech companies have gone up, and many of the startups are really upset because they can't burn cash at those rates. They can't pay 7, 8K for fresh grads. The big tech companies will continue to pay what they used to pay. They always pay a lot. I suspect that the growth in the median pay will either stagnate or may even drop.
Teo Shun Jun falls within the bracket of the median pay earner. The former Tencent data analyst engineer was let go by the Chinese tech giant at its Singapore office in 2022.
Around end of September, I received a news via my agent, so she dropped me a text asking me if I'm free to chat. At that time, I was halfway through my contract. She had to tell me that Tencent was laying me off because of cost-cutting exercises. It was quite sad, to be honest, and it wasn't just me that was affected. At least 5 of my teammates also received the same news around the same timing.
While drawing a healthy salary remains important, that isn't the priority for Shun Jun.
When I finished my diploma, I honestly didn't know that data personnel were being paid that high. I do it out of passion instead of the pay. You definitely can find higher paying jobs in bigger tech companies, but at my age it's better to just develop my soft skills and my technical skills first before I move on to bigger roles and more responsibilities.
Against the backdrop of a shrinking job market in the tech industry, some software engineers and data scientists are reassessing their future career plans. According to a report by executive outplacement firm Challenger, Gray & Christmas, US-based employers in the technology sector announced nearly 53,000 job cuts in November 2022 alone, the highest monthly total for the sector since the company began tracking industry data at the end of the 20th century. A separate report found that tech occupations in all industry sectors grew by 137,000 positions in the same month. The top 3 US employers hailed from the health insurance, defense, and banking sectors, respectively.
There are more jobs that are software engineering jobs outside the tech industry than in the tech industry. So to some degree, I would say the labor markets are much more resilient. There's not an auto company that doesn't need software engineers. There's not an energy company that doesn't need software engineers. There's not a retailer or a bank that doesn't need software engineers. So I would imagine to the degree to which there's oversupply in one, there will be more even distribution.
Shun Jun's own research has yielded similar results.
I know that the market right now is hard, but I also keep my eyes open to other industries. Healthcare and banks are definitely stable in Singapore. The property industry in Singapore is starting to boom. The friends that were affected, a few of them landed in banks. It sounded like they were contract roles. I have a friend that went to a decent local IT company here. He managed to find a job before he received the news, hence he was able to get a decent salary.
Before the recent round of layoffs, fresh graduates and mid-career professionals looking to break into the tech industry were attending specialized training courses, including coding boot camps, in droves. But are these boot camps still relevant? According to market research firm Holon IQ, more than 100,000 professionals were enrolled in tech boot camps globally in 2021, up from less than 20,000 in 2015. John Fong is the Vice President and Chief Operating Officer for APAC at General Assembly, one of several schools offering such boot camps.
Whenever there are mass layoffs, we typically see an increase in the interest in our programs. One of the main criteria that we have for our instructors is that they need to be industry practitioners. They need to have been there, done that, bought the t-shirt, so to speak. For them to be able to bring the real world, those projects, those portfolios into the classroom, it's really important for that curriculum. 90% of our students get a job within the first 6 months of graduation.
According to 2021 data, 4 coding boot camps had employment rates of at least 80% in a related field within a year. 3 of these 4 reported better rates than graduates of the University of Pennsylvania and Johns Hopkins University's 4-year degree programs. But some question the effectiveness of these boot camps compared with university programs in preparing students for higher profile jobs that rely on advanced knowledge and skills.
Fundamentally, for coding boot camps, you are actually running up to the kind of the limits of human learning. Like 6 months, you just can't learn enough. And there's also a problem of market readiness. What the boot camps try to do is they try to train students to get the jobs right away. Most of those jobs that they can do will be what's called the front-end jobs, like HTML, CSS, some JavaScript maybe. So it's very difficult, I think, for the bootcamp folks to learn enough to do the back-end work. There is a class of companies that don't pay so well, and they can't get the best engineers anyway, so they may make do with the boot campus.
Nevertheless, John remains steadfast in his view that General Assembly's courses are comprehensive enough for its prospective students.
Yes, we provide the fundamental skills. We also provide career coaching services. When the students come through